Now this is how you do a finale. Wow, this was a finale. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to KRSTV. This is your boy Kenny. Now remember, subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow all the information I have in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And this is Ambition Season 1, Episode 18. The name of this episode is Save the Best for Last, and this is the season finale. Child, let me tell you, I was on the edge of my seat with this finale. You guys delivered beyond my expectations, and I am looking forward to a season 2 because there's so much that went down on this season finale that literally had me gagged. But before I get started, let me send a personal shout out to Will Packer, Jamie Giddens, the cast, this phenomenal cast and crew. You guys delivered on so many levels, and I am really proud of you guys. I'm a huge fan of this show. I'm looking forward to season 2, and I am just a huge fan of Ambitions because this show has everything. I mean, it has sex, it has it has everything, I'm sorry this sex only came up to my mind, but I mean, it has everything. It has sex, it has thriller, it has suspense, it has everything, all of the above. And it's just that type of show that keeps you on the edge of your seat because you're like wondering, what the hell is about to happen now? Could this get any worse? Now, let me begin here. The episode opens up. We saw on the last episode that Titus was hit by a car while he was on the phone. Amara arrives at the hospital. He's at Mercy Hospital. He's in critical condition. When she arrives there, they're in surgery with him, but they don't know. It's kind of a touch and go, but they let her know that he was in critical condition. And it's just messed up that, Titus, so happens that Titus gets run over while he was about to do an expose on Purifoy Pharmaceuticals, and also due to the fact that Damian Collins is still running around, doing his shenanigans. So let me keep it moving. Then we get this damn scene. That damn Darcia and her money-grubbing ass comes in there with Greg Peters. They go to meet Rondell at Thelma's place. This bitch decides to sell her 2/3 of the business to Greg Peters. So she got her little buyout, and now she on her merry little fucking way. And Rondell is just disgusted and just completely just like she's literally being railroaded by her own cousin. But we found out on the last episode that she has been working with Stephen Carlisle this whole time. Because remember, she got all the signatures which actually stopped English Rose from tearing down Thelma's place. So now Stephen used Darcia, to get the business in a different way. So even though she stopped him that way, when people are ambitious and they're money hungry, they are going to find another way to make another move. It's chess. And they literally are playing chess, and they use Darcia as another way to take Thelma's place from Rondell. And she decides to sell her 2/3 shares of the business to Greg Peters. So now, pretty much, Greg is going to be Rondell's boss. Now, this is about to be some shit, because he confronted her, and he pretty much, and pretty much, Darcy, she pretty much told Darcia, you actually sold my family's business to the man that killed my father. You're gonna literally sell my mother and father's hard work for a check, like seriously. But Greg confronts Rondell and says that, look, I didn't kill your father, which he didn't. We all know now who killed Senior. And he says that, but at the end of the day, business is business. And she spit in his face. And he told her that you might want to get used to it and let your staff know that from this point on, any insubordinate actions will have dire consequences. And I'm like, there you go again, still threatening her ass. Like, Rondell gonna end up catching a body. Because Rondell then had all that she can take. And then later we see that her and Darcia have a one-on-one. And Darcia don't give a fuck. And pretty much Rondell told her, like, you are no longer family. Like, why would you do this to us? Are you just so hell-bent that you would just want to destroy this family? Like, you know, that's not how we were growing up. Like, what the fuck is this? And then Darcy is like, that's your problem, honey. You living in the past and I'm living in the future. But now that Greg Peters got 2/3 of the business, I hope things work out well for you. Deuces, cuz. I'm like, oh, that damn Darcy. You know, you got people like that who are just all about a coin because but I have a good feeling this shit gonna backfire, especially when they find out that Senior was not in his full state of mind and health when he signed off on that will. And then once I think everything comes together, Darcia gonna end up eating crow. But right now, she living high. She got her money, and now she about to go off and go back to Chicago and do whatever. But then again, knowing her messy ass, she probably might stick around. But yeah, so we had that go on. Then we get a scene. Evan comes home. He sees all of these gowns being thrown onto the floor that the maid is doing, and he's like, "Why are you doing this?" And then Stephanie's like, "She's doing it upon my request." And then he makes a few steps, and all of a sudden you hear bang! And then here she is with the damn gun and says, "Tell me the reason why the next bullet shouldn't go right between your eyes." And pretty much they have it out. She tells him about that she knows about Bella and that Joaquin is his child, you know, and he pretty much says that, look, I understand that you mad and everything like that, but why are you going after Joaquin? Joaquin is innocent. You know, yeah, he's innocent, but that's the whole thing. You know, you had a side kid with your side chick. He's always going to get the bottom of the stick because he's not the child of your wife. And they go back and forth and everything, and you know, he's saying like, well, if you really don't care, why are you so emotional? She says, this is not emotion. This is because, you know, why the hell would you jeopardize everything we built off of your little whore and off of your little tryst? Like, why would you do this? And pretty much, she pretty much said that if you really want to make this right, I know you got shares in Bella True. Won't you give your shares to me? And he says, I can't do that. Then she says, okay, fine. Then we're having a divorce. And then she went upstairs and started crying. I'm like, yeah, bitch, that shit did bother you. Like, it bothered you, honey. Because you wouldn't have been doing all the shit you did. You wouldn't have went into Bella's apartment and slapped the shit out of her and then told her you gonna ruin her career and all that shit if you was unbothered. So it goes right there. Yeah, Stephanie, you was full of shit about that. So then we see that Steven goes into his office. Stephanie's in the damn chair, and he was like, you better get your ass up out my chair or I'll physically remove you. And she's like, okay, daddy, but you only got a few more days anyway. And, you know, that retirement party is going to change everything. And Steven was like, your arrogance is going to be your undoing. And lo and behold, hold on to that shit because he was so fucking right. Because Stephanie definitely goes through it in this episode. And then while she's talking to her father, she gets a text from Damien saying that she better pay up or he's gonna take all of the information that he got to the DOJ. Then we see that Rondell calls Titus, you know, after dealing with Darcia, And Amara answers the phone, and Amara lets her know that Titus was hit by a car. And you could tell from the phone that the phone is damaged. It's still worse, but you can definitely tell, yeah, the phone definitely, the phone got fucked up. But Rondell actually says, what do you need? And she came there with, toiletries and all of that to be supportive of Amara. So I love me some Rondell. I really do. Because Rondell and Titus and Amara are I would say, they have their ways and they definitely have their shit, but at the heart, they're good people. Whereas the rest of them, I can't really say the same because the rest of them are so vindictive on, getting even and taking shit over and taking people down. These are the only ones that really don't think in that way. They think they think the opposite, and it's good to show this to see that Rondell and Amara actually have a good friendship and that she actually came to Amara in her time of need, where she kind of put her situation to the side and decided to be there for Amara. And then next thing you know, we see later on, they let her know, they let the doctors let Amara know that Titus is out of surgery. He's still in critical condition, so it's still touch and go. She goes to talk to him, and when she goes to talk to him, he lets her know that me getting hit by a car was no accident. And then all of a sudden he starts to code or whatever, and they rush her out. And then Stephanie shows up. And immediately Rondell is like, Stephanie, what the hell are you doing here? And she's like, is Titus okay? Is he okay? Oh, bitch. Amara saw her. She was like, it's because of your stinking ass that my husband's life now hangs in the balance, all because of you. And she told the whole tea that I know you brought Damien, somebody from my past, to try to ruin me and Titus' marriage because you want my husband for yourself. I was like, bitch, you better tell it. And then Rondell is like, is this true, Stephanie? Stephanie there looking just as blindsided like shit. And she was like, and she was saying that monster ran over my husband. And she pretty much, she pretty much told her, like, and Rondell was like, Stephanie, you just need to go. Just get the hell out of here. Because it's like everything you touch turn to shit. You just need to go. But then Stephanie says that, I'm sorry that this happened to Titus. But if Damien did this, he won't get away with it. I promise you that. I was like, She still got a place in her heart for Titus, even though she be pulling it off that she's not. She want Titus to stir her grits and to boil her water. The hell she thinks she fooling. Anyway, so then we get a scene with at the board meeting with Hunter and Lori Purifoy. The board of directors have voted unanimously for Hunter Purifoy to step down as leader of the company. And they also mentioned that Titus was in ICU, and we looked at Lori's face, and I was like, I wonder, Lori had something to do with that shit. They didn't really they really didn't prove it in this episode, but definitely the Purifoys, definitely had a hand in making sure that Titus was taken out, because Titus was about to take the company down completely. And the person who had the most to lose was not just Hunter, but also Lori. Because Lori, the Purifoy has been a legacy. It was created by Hunter's father, Gavin, and it got passed on to Hunter, and then it was supposed to get passed on to Lori. And Lori, the fact that, the last episode when she was having her run-in with Titus, Lori had that look on her face like, I might have to do something to stop his ass, because it looks like he's trying to rip this company, he's trying to rip this company at the roots. And that will fuck up her ambition, because her ambition was to be the head of Purifoy, which is why she didn't like Titus in the beginning. So, due to the fact that Purifoy Pharmaceuticals is a publicly traded company, there's not shit he can do about it. The board of directors pretty much run it. And they pretty much said that, um, yeah, and she was like, they pretty much was like, yes, Hunter, you're done, because of all of the lawsuits and all of the things that have now taken place under your leadership. We're now going in a different direction. And then Lori was like, what, a Purifoy has always been at the helm of this company. And they was like, not anymore. And you can see that Hunter and Lori, yeah, it's like their whole livelihood, that whole position of power has literally been ripped right from under them. Yeah, so yeah, I covered that. Okay, then and then we see later on we get a scene with Irene and Steven. Irene is actually meeting with the decorator for the party. Um, and Stevens kind of confronts her and was like, "You're enjoying this shit, aren't you?" And Irene was like, "Why would you say that?" He was saying that shit. You have wanted this company back ever since I took control over your father's firm, and you've been trying to use um Stephanie, as your piece to take the firm back from me. And she was saying that if I really wanted to do that, like, why would I stay with you all this time if I had some vendetta about what you did to my father? She was saying that I really want you to step down so we can do the things that we said we're going to do with your retirement. We're going to travel more, see the world, be with each other more, and Steven is not going to let Stephanie get this company. And I was just seeing it through the whole thing. He says that, look, she is not going to get this company, not this way. I will assure you, I'm not walking away from this shit. I'm not going to give Stephanie what she wants. Because Stephanie's a spoiled brat. Let's just call it what it is. Stephanie's spoiled because Stephanie got everything, but Stephanie wants to be the head of that company. And I'm like, Stephanie, why not just take your expertise and build your own firm from the grassroots up? Like, have your own stake instead of you trying to trying to overthrow your father. Because your father's ruthless as shit. And we could tell from that scene, yeah, he hugged his wife and everything, but you can definitely tell in his face that he ain't gonna take that shit lying down. So then we see that Damien gets into his car only to be smothered by chloroform, and I think it was Rashid who did it. And I'm gonna get to that. Then we get a scene with Inez and Bella. Inez is Bella's mother. Bella talks about, Stephanie, and that Stephanie was angry and she said she's going to ruin me and she was going to get custody of Joaquin. And Inez was like, first of all, she need to be mad at her cheating ass husband and not trying to take out her frustration on you, especially not my grandson. Exactly, the baby's innocent. So I was with Inez on that. And she pretty much tells Inez, Inez pretty much tells Bella that maybe you should leave Atlanta, with all this shit going on and with Stephanie, bringing hell and Joaquin being kidnapped. Maybe it's the best bet that you should go somewhere and start new. And Bella, of course, was like, well, what about my position with Cortisone? She says, they have a location in Manhattan. Won't you possibly move there? And she says, I'll even go with you to help, set things up. So I was like, that's interesting. And how will Evan feel about that? So, all right, so, yes, I already talked about that. So then we see that Steven goes to meet with Evan. And pretty much they discuss Stephanie. And he was saying that, she's been trying to take my company from me, right? And Evan's like, man, that's old news. She's been trying to take that company ever since she was in preschool. Like, that's that's nothing new. But he says that it can't happen though, right? Because think about it. Your ambition to become governor of Atlanta, that won't happen if your wife is running a firm that's a consigliere to Cerebian gangsters, because those are his biggest clients, is is Greg Peters' father and his affiliates. That's their biggest clients, and that's where they get the most money from, especially with the whole money laundering situation going on that Stephanie exposed. You know, and pretty much Evan was like, well, you ain't got nothing to worry about, Steven, because we're not going to be married much longer. Um, and pretty much Steven was like, oh, why? Why is she getting divorced? Because you were fooling around? Oh, please. We all play around from time to time. And Stephanie ain't no different. And dropped the bomb that she was having an affair with Greg Peters. And now you know that was going to make Evan feel some kind of way, because Evan and Rondell are still blaming Greg Peters for the murder of Senior. Even though we know, Stephanie knows, and Steven knows that Greg Peters had nothing to do with Senior being killed. And he pretty much says, so let's join forces and we're going to put that little daughter of mine back in her place. I was like, oh shit, there's nothing good could come from this. Then we go back to Damien, and we go back to Damien. We see that Damien is tied up somewhere. They remove the bag over his head, and it's Stephanie. So Stephanie had Rashid, kidnap him and tie him up. And she pretty much said that this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna give me all of the information when you illegally planted a camera in my office. So now she knows about the camera and shit, because of course she kind of figured it out, like how the hell would he known all this shit unless he was in her office. So she pretty much says, I want everything, and if you do what I ask, you'll live. And and she's like, I'm gonna ask you nicely, but if I bring my boy back, he's not going to be that nice. And he pretty much just boldly told Stephanie, I ain't giving you shit. And she pulls out a stun gun and starts stunning his ass. Just, yeah. He's like, you psycho bitch. I still ain't telling you shit. And she just starts stunning the shit out of him. And then the next thing you know, Amara fucking shows up. So Amara follows Stephanie. Like, Amara should be a damn detective, young. Well, she pretty much is somewhat. She's an assistant attorney to the federal government. So homegirl follows Stephanie all the way out to that outhouse somewhere in the country. She's pretty much saying, like, what the hell are you doing, Stephanie? And then Stephanie just tells Amara that Damien told me that he ran over Titus and all of that. And pretty much Amara and Stephanie go back and forth. Amara, says she's going to call the police. Next thing you know, she stunned him so bad that he fell to the ground. And he was able to get loose of the ropes. And then the next thing you know, he gets up and starts choking the dog shit out of Stephanie. But before that happened, Amara went to Damien and asked, did you do this to Titus? And he was like, I didn't do anything to Titus. Which I don't think he did either. This was a Purifoy hit. And then the next thing you know, Amara and Stephanie go back and forth, and then Damien gets loose and starts to strangle the shit out of Stephanie. And Amara completely panics and gets a shovel and knocks Damien upside the head with it. Damien starts bleeding out, and Stephanie checks his pulse, and it looks like, Damien's dead. And I even thought he was dead. And here Stephanie goes into game plan that we're going to cover this up and everything. And Amara's like, I work for the federal government. Like, I can't be a part of this bullshit. And she's like, I'm going to call the police. She says, and call them what? What the hell you going to tell them? That the guy you used to screw, you killed him? Like, after you did all this shit? It ain't going to look good for you, Amara. And I was like, man, she's kind of put in the same situation as she did with her other schoolmate, Marilyn. When, Marilyn had that affair with that rocker and she covered the whole thing up because he actually died at her house, but they moved the body and said that he died somewhere else, so it would take the sting off of Marilyn and her husband. And it's like she's kind of caught in another situation like this with Amara, and she pretty much tells Amara, just go to your husband. I'm going to take care of this. And she calls Rashid and says that we got a problem. So then we get a scene with Evan and Bella. you know, um, and pretty much, Evan assures Bella that, Stephanie is not going to come between us, and she won't be able to take Joaquin away from you, you know. But then she pretty much says that, she's thinking about moving to New York with her and Joaquin, that they should go their separate ways and all of that. And of course, Evan is dead set against it. He's like, no, I'm not letting you go that easy. I'm not allowing this. And pretty much, Bella was like, you don't have a choice. Because Stephanie is not going to stop coming for me. She's not going to stop. You can't control your wife. She's crazy. Like, she literally was in my damn apartment, sitting there sipping tea like it was just any other day. Like, are you fucking serious? Like, you can't control her ass. And I'm like, yeah, because she damn near shot your motherfucking ass. Like, when you walked into the house. So, but Evan reassures her that, well, pretty much, Evan is confident because he had that conversation with Steven. So we wonder what the hell is going on over here. But yeah, but Bella kind of made her stand that, she was dead set against, staying in Atlanta, having to deal with all that bullshit. But let's just say Bella plays a different card, and I'm about to get to it. Next, I'm going to talk about Hunter and Lori. Hunter is in his office drinking like a skunk, and it's on a damn Saturday, and he is just mad that he's lost his company. He no longer is at the threshold of power, and these damn white bigots do not like losing any power. And the fact that his whole company was taken over by the board of directors and they voted his ass out, he is not taking rejection well. And Lori says that, look, we'll get our company back, and pretty much he asked about how's Titus doing in the hospital. She said that he's still in critical condition, and he's like, good, it serves him right. So I'm thinking, yeah, them damn Purifoys had his ass ran over to shut him up. And she pretty much, goes to make a phone call to get a car to take his ass home, but Hunter's ass just ups and leaves. And I'm like, what the fuck is Hunter going? He reappears later on. I'm about to get to it. So then we get a scene where Bella's doing an interview about her new position with Corazon Textiles. She got a very lucrative deal with them. And they talk about her, Bella True, being a social media having a social media platform, and now she has her own fashion business. And then she admits on the interview that she decides she actually was thinking about moving to New York to be close to Corazon, but she decided to stay in Atlanta. And then she says that one of the reasons is because I want to teach my son that you don't need to run away from anything. You need to stand your ground. And then she calls Joaquin over, and she's like, oh yes, this is Joaquin Trujillo, and his father is Evan Lancaster. I was like, oh, bitch! Oh, you really are now going to go to war with Stephanie's ass now. But hey, he didn't want her ass to leave, so I think it was a smart move for her to admit that this is Evan's son. You can no longer have this shit a secret anymore when you're preventing me from going to New York. So yeah, I'm gonna tell the whole damn world this is your kid. And fuck your feelings. So I have to say, that was a good move, Bella. But then again, you really asking for some shit. Because trust me, it's you really gonna be getting some backlash for that shit. So we're gonna see how that plays out. So then Amara goes to Titus, and we see that she's there talking, and he pretty much tells her that nothing and no one will ever come between us. And then she lets him know that, I found out that Damien did this to you, and trust me, he will never be able to hurt us ever again. And he said, it wasn't Damien, it wasn't him. And before he could tell her who it was, he goes into cardiac arrest. And then the next thing you know, we see that he flatlines. And I was like, no, don't kill Titus. And Amara is just breaking down. And I'm like, oh shit. Damn, don't kill Titus. Like, we want to know who did this shit. But he obviously knows who hit him. So we need Titus alive so we can find out who did this shit. But I'm like, I'll be mad as hell if we come back season 2 and Titus is dead. So now we at the damn retirement party. We get a scene where Greg Peters just walked in there boldly. He steps up to Stephanie, and we see that Evan is looking at them talk to each other. And, Greg is like saying that, hey, you get rid of Evan, and hell, I get rid of the Petrovics and shit, and me and you can run the world together. And she says the only thing we're going to be doing together is making a whole lot of money. And I'm like, yeah, and you probably still going to be fucking and still, riding him like a motorbike like he was the other episode in that office. So, bitch, stop playing. Then all of a sudden, she goes over to Evan, and, she pretty much mixes with Emma saying that, oh, yes, well, since you're no longer going to be affiliated with the Carlyles anymore, it's good that you're here because this will probably be the last time you see us because we're not going to miss you, right? Being arrogant and being real smug to him, he, like, grabs her up and he was like, you've been up here fucking Greg Peters, and here it is, you damn near, had a damn Russian roulette moment with me where you was trying to fucking kill me and shit. Like, and here it is, you've been doing this shit the whole while, screwing the man that murdered my father. Really, bitch? And she was like, first of all, he didn't kill your father. And she kind of blows him off and was like, and get your damn hands off me, and walked away. I'm like, she was feeling herself this whole fucking scene because she just know she's about to get the company and everything is going to go her way because she got this, because she knows her father has been laundering money for the Petrovics through his firm and also through her mother's organization. Then we see that Rashid shows up to collect Damien. Damien's ass done got up off the spot. As soon as he calls Stephanie and lets her know that there is no body here, Damien comes out of nowhere and knocks his ass out. So I think he killed Rashid, and now he's going to be operating in the dark, and he really is going to become the motherfucking boogeyman back, when season 2 returns. So I'm like, see, y'all asses thought too damn quick that his ass was dead. Y'all should have waited until you made sure. But, Damien lives another day to bring hell upon all of them. And then we get a scene with Greg and Evan. Evan lets him know that, yeah, I know about what you've been doing. And just to let you know, that warehouse where you keep all of that dirty money is currently being raided as we speak. And then all of a sudden we see that Stephanie goes to get her father and is like, it's time, daddy. I'm like, bitch, you really think that your father is going to hand this shit to you? But lo and behold, he gets in there and he says that, yeah, it's a brand new day and I've landed a lot of deals. And recently, thanks to my daughter, we got a $2.5 billion settlement off of Purifoy Pharmaceuticals. And he says that we're about to go into the future. I was going to step down, but then I got new partners. And here comes Marvin and Marilyn, Marilyn, her old classmate, who she was trying to blackmail and shit. They now in partners with her father. And then you could just see it in her face. Stephanie was pissed. She was hot as shit. Then, he said because of this and because of all the board of directors, and we saw the guy that she met, one of the guys on the board, and his job was to influence the other board. But then when he brought them on, and they are very lucrative, they completely turned on Stephanie's ass. He says that due to the majority of the board, they of all the senior partners, I have decided to stay on as management. And I also had to give some bittersweet news. Stephanie will be stepping down from her role in Carlisle Perkins to dedicate her time to being a first lady, and she's also going to be joining her mother in running in running the foundation. So I was like, damn! Talk about fucking flip the script on a bitch. Stephanie was mad as shit. And pretty much afterwards, she confronted her father, like, how the hell you pull this off, daddy? She was saying, oh yeah, you know that Grant Creighton, that guy that Marvin had problems with? Let's just say I solved that for him. And then also your strong, desire to blackmail people also was a reason why they decided to do this deal with me. But he lets her know, if you leak any of that information about us, trust and believe me, you and mommy, we will all be singing songs behind bars together. Okay, my pet? And then kissed her ass, and next thing you know, you hear fucking Stephen Carlisle. Out come nowhere, Hunter's ass is there. He's drunk as shit, and he's saying, you took everything from me. You ruined me. Because of you, I lost everything. And then he pulls out a damn gun, and he gets one of his guys to tackle him. But that motherfucker is still shooting. So I'm thinking, some people got hit with them bullets. I wonder who survived the attack. Because bullets don't got no name on it. He was just firing the gun. I was like, Hunter was mad as shit. One, that he got taken down, but he got taken down by black people. So his sensitive, arrogant, selfish, self-centered ass was not going to take that shit lightly. And he showed up on their property, drunk as shit with a damn gun. We even see that Evan actually tackled Stephanie and made still protect his wife, even though they can't stand each other. And also, Stephen revealed to Stephanie that Evan helped him in securing the deal. That Evan was the one that brought them to the table. That brought Marvin and Marilyn to the table. So, and then the ending scene with fucking Hunter shooting the damn gun. I'm like, somebody got hit. But we gotta wait until season 2 to find out who survived, if anybody. So that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, get down in those comments. Let me know your thoughts. I truly enjoy this season of Ambitions, and I'm looking forward to what they have in store, in season 2. So until next time, everybody, take care.